Alright, so this definitely isn't the video I thought I'd be making today, but as it turns out, Konami decided they're just gonna go ahead and leak a shit ton of skills, and I mean a shit ton. There's essentially like 7 or 8 different archetypes worth of skills in here, which is kind of insane to think about, as I don't know how they're gonna fit 7 or 8 different archetypes into one box, because we assume these skill leaks are for the next upcoming box that's coming out in like a couple of weeks' time, but if they fit all these skills or all these cards into one box, that's going to be one incredibly stacked box, as some of these skills are just downright disgusting, so let's check it out. Alright, so the first wave of skills here are going to be for the brand new character, which comes out basically alongside the new box, or just before it, and there's of course for Sherry. Alright, if you control a face-up Chevalier de Fleur, and your opponent controls a monster, you can add one Baron de Fleur to your extra deck. This skill can only be used once per duel. So this is a skill that a lot of people sort of predicted or soft-predicted will be coming, because the Fleur archetype, it doesn't really have that many cards in it, with the most notable one being Baron de Fleur. And they thought, this card, it definitely can't come to Duel Links in just a box, as that would be absolutely absurd. So they thought, maybe it'll be coming in some sort of skill fashion, which is what happened. This card, if you've never seen it before, I'll be surprised. It's basically the most, like, common extra deck monster in all of Master Duel, or even all in the TCG. This card is disgusting. It's basically an Omni-Negate that can also just target your opponent's cards and destroy them. It can also recycle itself out, then bring back cards from your graveyard and just reuse various different monsters. It is an absurd card. I don't want to spend too much time talking about it, as most of you guys have probably read it before, you've seen it before, so just trust me, this card will be incredibly easy to summon, and it's just incredibly disgusting. Now, there is a little bit of downside to the skill, of course, and that is that the skill can only be used if your opponent controls a monster, so not being able to set up an Omni-Negate on turn 1 does make the skill quite a bit worse, but it does mean, obviously, when going second, just setting up Baron de Fleur before you go into anything too serious, it does feel pretty goddamn strong, so we'll have to wait and see how this goes. It will definitely be a fun skill to try out. Not sure if it will necessarily be the best skill or anything like that, but definitely something worth mentioning. Just having Baron de Fleur in the game it's something, alright. Alright, Sherry skill 2. Can be used before your normal draw if your life points are 3,000 or lower. One of your cards from your normal draw this turn will be a Fleur Synchron from your deck. This skill can only be used once per duel. Probably nothing much to worry about with this one. Adding this card to your hand is cool and all, but yeah, 3,000 or lower. Skills that don't work on turn 1 generally aren't that, a bit too slow for Duel Links currently. It's very rare we have skills that are, like, designed to be, after turn 1, or even life point skills in general. We don't really have any that are particularly used, so don't think we're going to care too much about that one. Sherry skill 3. At the beginning of a duel, place one Z1. What is this? When this set card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, select one continuous spell or field spell card in your graveyard, add it to your hand. Okay. Face down on your side of the field. During this turn, you cannot use effect or effects of cards with the same name. I'm going to assume there's some sort of anime skill. I've never seen this card in my life, so maybe this is some sort of card that synergizes with something, but it just looks like an anime skill or something. I'm going to assume not the greatest skill there. Alright, moving on. So, Sherry skill 4. Send one Noble Knight Spearholder from your hand to the graveyard to set one Polymerization to your field from outside of your deck, and send one Fleur Synchron to the graveyard from outside of your deck. Then you can add one Fleur de Fleur, what the hell is that? Or one Noble Knight Monster with 800 attack from your deck or graveyard to your hand. Skill only used once per turn. During the turn you not use the skill, you cannot special summon monsters from outside the deck, except for Noble Knight monsters with 800 attack or Synchron Tuner monsters. Aha. Oh, from outside your extra deck, so you special summon anything from the extra deck. Right. So this is going to be really interesting to see what they do with this deck, because the issue with these Noble Knight Spearholder cards and the various different cards that are similar to it, we actually have them in the game currently, but we have them in like a nerfed state, I believe. I don't think we actually have the full versions of this card, because I think they actually came out in Duel Links before they came out IRL, and the IRL variants are better than the Duel Links variants, so I'm not sure if these cards are even going to be playable unless we get them updated, so not sure about this skill in particular. It could be good. Also, I'm not really sure about the polymerization thing. I thought the Fleur archetype was a synchro one, but I guess the Noble Knight cards have their own little fusions. I don't know. I'm not really sure how this skill is going to work unless these cards get updated to their TCG variants. If that doesn't happen, I don't see the skill being usable at all, because these cards kind of suck, so we'll have to wait and see. I'm not super keen on this one. I think the go-to skill is probably going to be the Baron de Fleur skill, at least to try it out, because this skill seems absolutely, at least fun to play. Alright, so that's enough of Sherry's skills. Let's check out the TG skills. Alright, so I've heard from my Discord that a lot of people are really excited for these skills, so I'm expecting some bangers here. Alright, TG skill 1. Each of the following effects can be used once per duel. You cannot normal or special summon any monsters from outside of the deck except TG monsters. Alright, outside the extra deck, sorry. During your opponent's turn, you cannot activate the effects of level 7 or higher monsters except TG monsters. Right, so that's incentivizing you to go into specific TG monsters with your synchro plays, I assume, which is not that fun, as I like using Querion Gandrax in my opponent's field. I probably can't do that with this new skill, which kind of sucks. Reveal one level 3 or lower TG monster in your hand. Add one TG limiter removal from your deck to your hand. Oh, you don't even have to put a card back into your deck list, you just add it to your hand? Oh, that's crazy, okay. Discard one card, add 2G monsters with different names in your deck to your... Oh my god. You banish this card from your graveyard, then target one TG monster in your graveyard, shuffle into the deck. Or if you control a machine TG monster, you can add it to your hand instead. You can only use one TG effect once per turn. Oh my god. Wait, this card is crazy. It's a search for 2, and then gives you a recovery on the future turn. And it doesn't require you to shuffle a card from hand back into deck, you just add it? Oh, that is crazy. Okay, what's the second one? Set one TG Dragonfly to your field from outside your deck. It can be flip summoned this turn. Oh, you can just, there's literally no like requirement on using this. You just use it whenever. You just place this on the field whenever you like. Oh my god. We already had a skill that's something similar, right? That already puts this card on the field or something. Or I'm pretty sure it was this card on the field. And you just use this for your various different synchro plays, right? It doesn't, the effect I don't think matters too much. Once per turn, you summon TG monster control, send it to the graveyard, then four single monsters that were used for its synchro summon on your graveyard, and you special summon all of them. The effect doesn't matter too much. I think what matters is the fact that it's a synchro monster, so you can use it for various different synchro climbing sort of plays. So, the fact that you can just place this on the field, and you just search for, this is literally just straight up +1, right? So you have to get to, add the spell to hand, discard one, and then you get to, add the 2 monsters, so it's just straight up +1. That is a crazy skill. Alright, alright. I'm not sure how the next skill can top this one. This one seems pretty incredible, so let's see what the next skill is. At the beginning of your turn, set one Starlight Junction to your field from outside your deck. What's that do? This is a field spell. You intrude one tuner monster, special summon one synchron monster from your deck with a different level than that attributed monster had on the field. During your opponent's turn, if you special summon a synchron monster from your extra deck, target one card on the field, shuffle into the deck. Okay, so it gives you basically a searcher for whichever synchron you're looking for. And it also gives you a return to hand effect as well, which sounds pretty good. Okay. But I think the issue there is a lot of the synchron monsters like on summon, right? I think I'm specifically thinking of junk synchron, but I think junk synchron is on normal summon, right? Yeah, this is normal summon. There's other synchrons, so maybe it'll be used for another synchron. Maybe just to get like a jet synchron on the field or something. And it puts a junk converter in the graveyard as well, so that's also important to note. Okay. If the only face-up monster on your field is a Stardust Dragon or a level 10 synchro monster, you can play one Formula Synchron or one TG Dragonfly from outside your deck in defense position. Okay, so it gives you a quick effect synchro for your opponent's turn, just given to you for free via the skill. Okay, that's crazy, because we've already got a skill that does something very similar to this, and it was a very impactful skill when it was sort of relevant, so it's basically the same skill, but now gives you the addition of all this other stuff at the start as well, which sounds absolutely crazy. Okay. It's going to be used once per turn and twice per duel. During this duel, you cannot special summon monsters except for light or wind synchro monsters with 2,500, 3,300, 4,000 attack, junk monsters, or synchron monsters. That sounds a little bit limiting, but it shouldn't matter too much, because I assume the giant Stardust monsters you can summon, like the big negates and all that kind of stuff, are probably going to be enough as disruption without having to worry about... Even like Stardust Warrior would probably be fine, whatever his name is. If the website will load. Even just summoning this guy would be kind of fine, but I assume we can summon bigger stuff than this with this skill, so... Should be fun to test out. I'm certainly excited to use this one. I think this is probably the TG skill, and this one's probably going to be the Stardust skill. I'm not really sure why they bothered with the TG stuff. Maybe they just wanted to include the include this in case you wanted to not summon a tuna monster, for example. Maybe it could be used for something else. But both these skills seem insane. I think this one's definitely the more go-to TG skill, but for the new Synchron stuff, this could definitely be something worth considering. It's kind of insane considering like how good these archetype skills already are for these decks. Like TG already has an insane skill, and so does Stardust. Stardust has like 3 insane skills, so it's insane they can even try to power creep them. We'll see how it goes though. Both seem pretty good. Alright. Draw Sense Tuner. Can be used for your normal draw each time your life points decrease by 1,000. One of the cards from your normal draw this turn will be a random tuner monster in your deck. This skill can only be used if you begin the duel with the deck excluding a deck that contains at least 9 monsters. Yeah, I think this is similar to what I was talking about earlier with the other skill, where life point skills aren't really used that much anymore, so I don't think we care too much. Spellcaster Reload. Place 1 level 5 or higher spellcast type monster from your hand at the bottom of the deck and draw 1 card. This skill can only be used Can only be used twice, once per duel, immediately after your normal draw. Don't we already have level 5 reload? Isn't that already a skill that exists? I don't know about that one. Don't we already have level 5 reload? I don't know. I can't be fucked looking up how different it is from that skill, but I mean, if that skill gets played, I'm sure this one will probably see play too, if there happens to be a spellcaster deck with level 5 monsters that you want to use it with. I can't think of one in particular, but let me have a look. Level, when I can spell level, my brain is small. Level 5 spellcaster? Do we even have that many? Oh my god, Altergeist finally has a skill? That's crazy. Like, unironically, is Altergeist the only deck that will actually impact? What other decks even use level 5 spellcasters other than this one? Damn, if it wasn't at the start of the turn, that'd be kind of sick, because you could, like, use your Altergeist card to search for this, and then shuffle it back, maybe? I don't know. Either way, let's move on. Synchro skill. At the beginning of the duel, gain 1,500 life points, select 1 Synchro monster to control to gain 300 attack until the end of the turn. If there's a wind monster in your field or graveyard, it gains 600 attack instead. You only use once per turn if you begin the duel with an extra deck containing at least 1 Synchro monster. It just gives you 550 at the start of the duel. Okay, that's kind of interesting. Alright, so I think this skill probably won't see play as a... It just doesn't seem that great. The 1500 attack seems interesting. And this skill seems actually really quite generic, so I mean... If you want to start with 1500 life points, just include one wind synchro monster in your extra deck and you're good to go. Interesting skill. I'm not sure where it'll be used, but it could probably be abused somewhere just for the life point gain. Alright, Gouki skill. Each of the following effects can be used once per duel. Gain life points equal to the original attack of a Gouki monster in your field or graveyard. Okay, so it's basically giving us the... I forgot the name of the 3 effects, that skill. It's basically giving us the 3 effects skill, just added into a Gouki skill. That's kind of funny. So they've already given us 3 effects for Trickstar, and now they've done it for Gouki as well, which is kind of cool, because those are the 2 decks that were definitely using it. Or some of the decks that were using it. If you control a monster while your opponent controls a monster, return 1 non-link Gouki monster from your graveyard to your hand, then return 1 card from your hand to the deck. Okay. Okay, so a bit of recycling on there. It's going to be used if you're in a duel with a deck exclamation that contains at least 9 Gouki monsters. So basically just giving 3 effects to Gouki. That's all that skill is, which is good because I think they still use that skill actually. So good to see they're actually going to play the Gouki character with Gouki now, not just the Playmaker guy. Alright, speaking of Playmaker, if you control a Cyberse Link monster, you can send 1 Firewall Dragon from your extra deck to the graveyard. It is treated as if it was properly special summoned. Okay. Then you can return 1 card from your hand or field to the deck to set 1 Firewall Guardian to your field from your deck. It can be flip summoned this turn. This will only be used once per duel. You can also special summon monsters from outside your extra deck, except Cyberse type Light, Dark, or Wind monsters. Alright, and Firewall Guardians. This is the card that's used in Math Mech and Master Duel. If this card sends the graveyard as material for a link summon of a Cyberse monster, you can special summon this card. Okay. but banish it leaves the field. When an attack is declared involving your Link monster and opponent's Link monster, you can banish this card from the graveyard to negate the attack, also pretty good. And if you deal 10 in this turn, the original attack of the opponent's monster becomes 0, okay. But it's unaffected by other card effects. Alright. That actually sounds insane. So you're putting a Firewall Dragon in the graveyard that you can potentially revive for free. Like, just revive it without having to worry about the Special Summon requirement of it. And on top of that, you've got a Firewall Guardian on the field, which is fantastic, because Link climbing with this card is incredibly easy, because it just likes to resummon itself, which is... yeah, so that's actually crazy, so... this skill seems really good. I do think Cyberse players will be trying this out. Does seem pretty crazy. Although I don't really know why Cyberse is getting like yet another skill. It seems like they're getting like a new skill every single box for some reason. I don't know like why. Maybe save this skill for when they actually release some Cyberse support. But maybe they're releasing some more Cyberse cards in here or something. Who knows? Alright. Gladiator Beast skill. Oh god. This has to be really good. Like, if it's not, Gladiator Beast is probably not going to be playable. Reveal one Gladiator Beast monster in your hand to set one Gladiator rejection that is banished or from your deck or graveyard. Okay, so that's a good start, because this card, if it's not on the field, you already have no chance of playing going second, because this thing makes your stuff untargetable, I think, or something like that. Your opponent cannot target Gladiator Beast monsters you control with card effects. There you go. Except during the battle phase. If a Gladiator Beast monster is Special Summon from your main deck, you can Special Summon one Gladiator Beast monster from your deck with a different type from that monster you control in defense position. Alright, so that's definitely a good start, because that means you don't have to hard open this card in order for the deck to play, because the deck is 100% not functional if you don't open this card. Now, you can summon this, if you have this thing on the field, you can basically go into your fusion monster that pops back row really easily, or pops your front row really easily, and you don't have to worry about your opponent hitting you with some target back row, basically, so should be good. Is it enough to make Gladiator Beast playable? I hella doubt it, and let's read the rest of the skill in case there's something else in here. Skill may be used once per duel within the duel with a deck. It's an extra deck that contains at least 8 Gladiator Beast monsters. During this duel, you cannot special summon monsters from outside your extra deck, except Gladiator Beast or Beast type monsters. Okay, so... yeah, I'm not sure this is going to be enough to make Gladiator Beast playable. I'll give it a try, but I am very skeptical unless there's some absolutely incredible support in the brand new box that makes this deck actually functional, because this alone, it won't be enough. Alright, what is this? Ogdoadix, what the hell is that? What is this? Is this an archetype? Oh, it is an archetype. What the hell? It's a reptile archetype. Okay, I don't know what this is. Let's, okay. Reveal one light or dark reptile monster in your hand to add one monster with the opposing attribute but the same type and level as the revealed monster from outside. Oh, it's literally the light and dark skill. That's sick. Then we use once per duel. During this duel, you cannot special summon monsters from outside the extra deck except reptile type monsters. Okay, so light and dark was an insane skill when it was relevant until they put the life point requirement on it. Otherwise, it might even still see play. So the fact they're giving this deck the light and dark treatment is insane. Hopefully, it has a lot of light and dark monsters, but just by the looks of things, it does. So I don't know how this archetype works. Maybe someone in the comment section could give a brief rundown on how it works if you guys know. But yeah, already having a skill like this sounds really good, because light and dark was one of my favorite skills for back in the day. So it's nice that they are basically reprinting the skill, but for reptile monsters. Alright, and the skill that's probably going to be the thumbnail of this video, Sky Striker skill. At the beginning of the duel, add cards to your deck/extra deck, including Sky Striker Mobilize Engage. You cannot normal or special summon monsters from outside the extra deck, except Sky Striker monsters or monsters from your opponent's graveyard. So already, finally, the two singular Sky Striker cards we have in Duel Links, these two random ass spell cards that just happen to be in the game, are finally getting their actual archetype to play with. So, but obviously getting Engaged, which is just a card that is incredibly strong. If you control any monster in your main monster zone, add a Sky Striker card from your deck to your hand. Then, if you have 3 or more spells in your graveyard, which the entire deck is spell card, you get to draw a card as well. So it's a searcher that gets to add a card as well. Like, it's just a +1. It's a searcher that gives you a +1. Crazy spell card, so yeah, we'll have to wait and see what exactly they're giving us. I'm pretty excited to play Sky Striker and Duel Links. So I think Sky Striker is one of those decks that kind of fits the Duel Links format because it actually can use like their background and all that kind of stuff. Whereas in Master Duel or in TCG, it's somewhat playable, but I don't know, it feels kind of bad sometimes. I think this is actually like definitely a Duel Links format feeling deck list, so it should be fun to play. Hopefully it's not too broken though, because Sky Striker is a very scary deck to add to our game, so hopefully it's not too strong, but it should be fun. Alright, then we have Klee skill. At the beginning of the duel, add pendulum. Oh god, I'm already falling asleep. Add pendulum zones to your field. During the end phase, you contribute summon a clear monster. You gain life points. Okay, that's very cool and all, but pendulums are pendulums. Alright, and then we've got a rush duel skill. Nail skill. It's going to be used if the only level 5 or higher monsters in your deck are level 6, 7, 10 Cyberse type monsters, and there are at most 6 more monsters in your deck. You control no monsters. Reveal one of this or one of this. In your hand, add one Cyberse type normal monster from your graveyard to your hand. Oh, so just giving you tribute fodder. Alright, sounds like an alright skill, but yeah, I think we're more interested currently in the actual speed duel skills. Alright, so that is it for the speed duel skills. So just to recap, we're getting the Chevalier, the Fleur archetype stuff, which might just all be on the character. It might not even be any in the box. I'll be surprised if it's not, but yeah, so we're getting that stuff. We're getting I'm not sure if we're getting retrains of these Noble Knight cards or updated versions of them, which probably should be. We're getting some new TG support, some new Synchron support. We're getting I have no idea what this skill is targeted at. We're getting the Gouki, so I'm not sure if we're going to be getting actually new Gouki cards, or if they're just literally giving us this skill the same way they gave us the the Trickstar skill. I'm getting more of a feeling this is just giving us this skill because they're sick of people not playing the Gouki character with Gouki, so I think that's all this skill is. We're getting Playmaker support with some more Firewall or some new Cyberse cards, which is really odd. Gladiator Beast support, which means also, by the way, any of those other archetypes from that box, so like Evil Eye and Dream Mirror, they could be in here as well. If they're giving us Gladiator Beast support for basically, because those cards were in that little mini set we got, I wouldn't be surprised if there's Evil Eye or Dream Mirror support in there as well. We're getting an entire new archetype I've never heard of before, but a bunch of reptiles, Sky Striker stuff, and the Clifford stuff, or whatever these cards are. These I think are these like the towers guys? Pretty sure they're like towers or something. Either way, I think that's basically going to do it. So yeah, let me know your guys' thoughts down below. Are you excited for this stuff as I am, or is this basically what you were hoping for from the new box? I'm personally a little bit disappointed there's probably not going to be any Resonator support, considering the pickup box they're about to release is going to have a Resonator supporting card in it, and turns out they're not actually releasing any Resonator stuff, I don't think, so that's a little bit disappointing, but I think the fact we're getting Sky Striker probably makes up for it for me, so let me know your thoughts down below, and yeah, thank you guys for watching. Remember to subscribe and like all that kind of stuff. Hope to see you in the next one, and laters.